right into it. Thank you so much for maintaining the energy today. I'll go ahead and introduce our speakers. So we have Arome Ibrahim. Please, can he join me on stage? Everyone, please give him a round of applause. It's not easy. We have Toby Akinyele, founder Trigger Media. Thank you so much. We have Excellence Joshua, founder of Techie Train Incubator. Is she here? The energy is low. Can we wrap it? Thank you so much. And then finally, we have Hafsat Dange, manager at CAC, and also a Mandela Washington Fellow. All right. I think we'll just jump right into it. It's great to meet all of you today. Like I said, our conversation is particularly important. We've had a lot of people give presentations virtually, but I feel like this is going to be a very practical session because you guys are doing the ground. You're right there on the field and making things happen. So for our first question, we're going to talk about background. Can you give us a bit about? So first of all, we're going to go with you, Arame, if that's okay. Could you give us a background on your journey, how you got started at Experis Immersive? So.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Arame Ibrahim. I'm the co-founder of Experis Immersive, and I would say I'm super excited to be here. Right. So my journey was quite simple. I got started with virtual reality and augmented reality in 2018. I attended the faith-sponsored events here in Abuja. And the moment I wore the VR headset, I was like transformed on how this technology can aid learning, especially in education, in entertainment, also arts and heritage. And since then, I've been able to build a startup called Excellence Immersive and also growing a community around emerging technologies such as virtual reality and augmented reality in Nigeria.
That's really interesting because we keep hearing about how AR, VR are the next big thing. So it's good to hear about it in more of a practical sense, how we can improve learning. What about you, Excellence? I'm particularly interested in hearing from you because it's something that some people would not like to acknowledge, but there are fewer women in tech. Do you think so? So seeing you here, I'm interested in hearing from you. So tell us about Techie Train. What about your background? What has your journey been?
Okay, so in 2018, I was 25 and I was divorced. I had a 2-year-old son. I just graduated. I was broke and stranded. I practically ran away from my now ex-husband from a very terrible abusive marriage, and I had a neurological breakdown. And so I got home and it dawned on me that I was 25 and this was not the life I wanted for myself. I had just graduated as a medical laboratory scientist and I wasn't getting jobs. So the jobs I was seeing, they needed me to do call duty. And I had a 2-year-old son. I didn't have a help. I was just kind of frustrated. And so I kept trying, but I wasn't getting better options without call duty. And then that's 2018. In 2019, I found out about digital solutions. First, it was for me to connect with my son, who was very reserved. I noticed he loved cartoons a lot. And so I learned how to animate, to create cartoons for him. But when I was putting the cartoons out there, I didn't know anything about video marketing and how powerful it was. And so everybody was, wow, this is so good. And for me, I felt we could revolutionize learning with animations. That was what was key for me. But then as we grew, people were more particular about how simplified my my teachings were, than what I was doing. And then COVID happened in 2020, and some organizations reached out to me. Can you help train our women on how to move their businesses online? From home, you've reached so many people training on animations and video marketing. And that was how we started. So I was training them, and I was also doing the services. And women would come and be like, I love it. I've learned, but I don't have the time. I want to do production. I don't have time for the online media. Can you get somebody like you? So everybody keeps saying, get someone like you, but I didn't have people like me. And then people that had followed my journey were like, oh, Excellence, I see how your life has been transformed. Can you teach me what you do? COVID has happened. I lost my job. My salary has been slashed by 50% and all of that. And I'm like, okay, there's a gap here. There are people looking for jobs. And if they can reskill, because I didn't have a tech background, and if they can do this, then those that also need to skill, they can also get talents to help them skill. And so I began to train women. And then when they're done, I give them a chance to do internship. And so the entrepreneurs trusted me because they knew, oh, you train these people, then they're good, like you. And so the women will come in between, and it was a hybrid service. And then they work, they learn, and they work. And that's how we grew. So far, we've trained over 6,000. We've been training and then outsourcing globally.
Thank you so much, Excellence. That was a very inspiring one. It's obvious that you saw a gap and then you went for it. So, Toby, this next question is for you. I am aware that you're the founder of Trigon Media and also a brand strategist. So, basically, you run a media outfit. That's very interesting to me because I work in communications myself, though in the nonprofit sector. So, I would like to inquire, what would you say are the fundamentals for a successful entrepreneurial career?
Hi everyone, it's great to be here. My name is Toby and the name is Trigon Media. Trigon Media. Yes, so to your questions, I'll say it starts with having a passion. Having a passion, knowing that if it's to be, it's up to you, really. And then seizing opportunities. Basically, I started out having a creative passion. I started out doing things easily, and I didn't know how. I didn't know why. Then I went to school to read civil engineering for 7 years. So and then I came out and I'm like, I don't want to become a civil engineer. I really want to do things. I really want to make my hands work. And I took up graphic design, and within 2 weeks, I could design flyers. It was that easy. So it came easily to me to start graphics. So from graphic design, I took up website development, learning on my own, and it became super easy. I remember the first website job I had. The guy didn't know that that was the first time I was going to build websites. And I told him that, oh, I can do this thing. So opportunities will always come, but it's up to you to seize it when it comes. So you have to be ready, basically. And majority of the breakthroughs I have, I'm still not there yet, but majority of the breakthroughs I have is been just seizing opportunities.
And also across Africa. Though the industry is quite small, basically we know ourselves in the industry in Nigeria and also in Africa. But I believe in the next 5 to 10 years we should see some of the big players, for example, Meta, which is formerly Facebook, and the rest investing more in Africa, right? Supporting emerging technologies such as VR, AR, AI, and IoT. And also see how we can have the government agencies like NIDA and the rest support homegrown entrepreneurs and homegrown startup. Because trust me, being a startup and not having any support is a lot of headache, right? Not having investment also is another headache. But I believe if we could really, really support what we are doing currently across Nigeria, it would be a huge builder for those companies that really want to scale, not just scale across Africa, but globally. And also, another point I'd love to add is to see how we can create learning resources that are tailored to our needs, right? Just like he said, he's self-taught. I'm also self-taught. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, right? But if we could have some of our key entrepreneurs sharing what they do, sharing their stories and their hacks to people that want to learn, trust me, Nigeria will be the next big thing in the coming 5 to 10 years.
All right, so we have excellence next.
Yes, I want to add to what he said, local content. So 5 years ago, most of our content was not tailored to our environment. You know, when I finished from school, one thing that was particular to me, I said, how can students not understand that the end of chemistry is physics? How can everything be everywhere? I trained in UCH, and one thing that was spectacular for us was applied knowledge. Nobody is coming to ask you, what is this? So you see the clinical results and you have to interpret. And you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, from this PCV, this is a likely the diagnosis that is here. And so I'm like, why is it just medicine? Why just UCH? How about our kids come out and they understand that if I throw a ball, it's the law of gravity that's working? Why can't they understand? How can this thing be merged together? So for me, it was more about having experiential and applicable knowledge. And so when I started training in digital skills, one thing that set us apart was we're doing local content. We had many people come tell us, I've done social training, I don't want to mention names, here, but it's not applying. I don't understand it. I go there, I've trained, and I even had 100%, and then I go to Instagram and I'm lost. It's not applying to my audience in Nigeria. And so we began to create local content, and then we now infuse projects into what we're creating. So I'll teach you how to optimize, I'll teach you how to understand your online media, and then I'll teach you video marketing. And then I give you a project and I tell you, record a video, tell me your name, where you're joining from, and then what you've learned from the program. Now they think I'm just marking that. No, I'm marking your creativity. I'm marking your editing skills. After I'm marking your caption and how you're able to put it together. And then when I'm done marking that, I go to your profile to see if it's optimized. And then I see your engagement level as well. So it's one question, but I'm able to have an overall view. It's not just coming to give you objectives and then you say, I had 85% and I've passed. No. So when someone graduates from Techie Training Incubator Academy and the person says, I had 80% certificate of excellence, you know, oh, this person has been grounded. Do you understand? So I think local content, and I think it's been appreciated now because in the tech space, it's more about what you can do, not what you know. So everybody's asking for your portfolio. So you can't tell me I had 100. What's that? Okay, show me what you've done. And if we're able to interpolate this across board in AI and fintech everywhere, I think we would have a very strong system. And I think something else that is good is we getting funding and support, and the government understanding that we're in the digital era. And so it's important that we see digitalization across spheres. So for us, even as with Rin and outsource, we also let them think innovation. We've had medical doctors come through our training, and then today they're cybersecurity engineers in medical sphere. They're doing things in telemedicine. They're creating awareness in telemedicine. So I tell them, identify your strengths. When you identify your strength, you know the tech skill that is important for you, then you apply that skill in that area that is your strength and drive change. You don't have to be an online media or web developer or something.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think the audience agrees that that's a very interesting perspective. So localizing content, gone are the days when content seemed to be tailored to another audience. Content is being localized to the African audience these days, and that's a very welcome development. So moving on, so Toby, if I may, what do you think is an interesting trend among tech startups in Nigeria?
Well, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative.
Besides Twitter feuds and all of that. So
I think okay, two things I'll say. This is not really like it's not what I would say now is not too positive. Is it the fintech space and how every young person, every startup is jumping into fintech. I don't advise it personally. I like Mr. Femi mentioned. I think there's already see a solution in that, and that's why everybody's jumping. But I think that we can go further. We can think of more things, and also socially and entertainment wise, I see a lot of social marketing on IG, marketing on TikTok. Look at what Nigerians have done TikTok to, and social, and it's a good thing, and it's a good thing. We just have to it's a good thing, but it's free now, right? So we just have to look for a way to create value with that and let it become an earning capacity for us. So whatever you're doing, the advice is to think of how you can give value. You can only get paid if you provide value, right? So think of how you can give value. You might be doing it for free, you might be enjoying it, but if you don't give value, people don't see the value in the word.
thank you so much. Anyone else want to jump on that?
To add to that, I would say what is currently going on for most startups in Nigeria is building a community around your solution, right? If you notice, most fintech startups, for example, are already leveraging on campus-based programs. So getting to the student directly in campuses to jump on board with their solution, right? So basically, for us, for example, in the emerging tech space, you can't just bring out a product and get people to buy it or get people to leverage on it, right? You need to build a community around what you are building. So you have them giving you feedback on the solution and making sure that everything is perfect before you launch. So community building has been amazing so far.
Okay, so I want to add communication. Communication is key. I think we have so many techie people that don't know how to communicate the value they're providing. So they're very good, they're very techie, but they can pitch themselves, they can pitch their services. That's one thing we do. We'll teach you tech, but we'll teach you how to give an elevator pitch. We'll teach you how to communicate what you're doing. What are you doing? Who are you doing it for? How are you doing it? So you're so good, but you're just in one corner. And then you see people that they are not doing as good as you are, making noise all over the place and getting all the money and all the visibility. We have fantastic ideas all over the place, but techies they're not skilled in communication. And I think that's something we should do. So we should put them out there. We need more voice. I think we should encourage those in the technology space to be particular about their PR or get people to do it for them.
Toby, is this where you come in? So we've talked about the space in general, but I want to get down to the nitty gritty. What about challenges in the work that you do? I want to know. I want to know, any obstacles you faced. I really let's get in there.
For us, it's been a lot. We outsource. And in our outsourcing, we do both hybrid and outright outsourcing. So for outright outsourcing, you come to us, oh, I need a web developer, and then we just hire and then you go on from there. For hybrid, we don't just hire, we onboard your staff, and then you give us your goals, we pass it on and ensure that the deliverables are met. So you pay us and we pay them. And so because most of these women work remotely, in as much as in our academy, we don't just train for work, we train for intellect, work, and welfare. So it's important that their capacity is built, their mind is expanded, because in working remotely, discipline is key. So it's not just that I did the job, you have to do it on time. So those are things we test for. And so when you hire, because as women you have kids, or they'll come and tell you, power, the internet is just not going. So there are just so many things that fight against them, and which has been a problem. But we're currently looking at setting up an innovation hub. We're starting here in Abuja, where women can come learn, work, and earn, where you don't have issues of power and the internet, and then across cities in Africa, in Nigeria, then Africa, because we don't just train scam women in Nigeria, but across Africa as well. So that's one thing we see. My data, the internet, I could not submit that assignment, and all of that. And then when you're outsourcing globally, you have people from countries in the US, UK, Canada. You can't give those kind of excuses. But trying to change the brand image of Nigeria and the global outsourcing industry, and so we can't afford to give excuses. So those are challenges that we'll face, but we hope that with the innovation hub and then like that, we feel that we'll have something better.
Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Well, for us, it would be about maybe people. It's kind of pretty difficult to get the right people sometimes to come on your idea. And it's fine because nobody really understands what you want to do. So when you start out you start out with this big picture and high and lofty, and you tell people and they laugh at you. And that's fine, really. It's okay if you don't understand. But oftentimes you get that it's difficult to get people to work on that vision. And so while you are giving 110%, somebody is giving like 5%, and it doesn't really work that way. So yes, so I think for us that's been the biggest challenge. And sometimes over time people can grow into a vision. So you see, you hire people and they start out not getting the big picture, but after a few years they get to see small and little wins, and then they get the big picture over time. Yeah.
So people are human resources. That's the
People
greatest
processes.
resource. Yeah.
So people processes, and for processes you need, I'll say, systems. For systems to work, ultimately you need money. And because maybe if you one person doing something, and then you have more clients in, and you need to double down on your results, so you need more processes instead of the question is, can somebody now stand in your place and do the same thing as excellently as you have it done? So if you are able to tweak that angle, you will be able to scale up easily. All right. So people processes.
Thank you so much. So I would like to give room for the audience to also ask their questions. So we'll just address this last question. So what ultimately your solution, what your company, what you're building, what do you ultimately aim to achieve? What do you want to solve? That big problem, your why.
Okay, so for us, given a projection between next 5 to 10 years, we want to see how we can fully leverage virtual reality and augmented reality in two key areas, which is education. So we're currently working with selected schools in Abuja, private and public, to help digitize their curriculum. Because I notice most students learn STEM-based subjects, and including biology and chemistry. and they cannot visualize what they have been taught. Some of them have not seen a skeleton in their lives or might not be able to see that, right? So what we're trying to do is to create 3D content of those particular subject matters and train the teachers on how to use them. So for example, in the classroom, a teacher can just pick up an iPad and project an augmented reality experience of this human skeleton. And trust me, the students will learn and understand more better than using the normal textbook or the blackboard. And also another area we're looking at is in arts and culture, right? Currently, we have poor visualizations of our heritage. So we want to see how we can create 3D twins. A twin is basically a digital version of a natural object, like maybe the fair bronze head. We are going to create a 3D twin of it, whereby those museums can have a digital replica and in return create revenue from that via NFTs or having a virtual collection online that people anywhere in the world can engage with it and see how we can build a community around what we are building here in Nigeria and have like some of the best startups currently going through our incubation and accelerator program that we're going to host, working for some of the big startups in the world.
So while you were speaking, one thing occurred to me. What about the technology gap? So you mentioned teachers in classrooms, and I'm a trained teacher, so I can visualize some of the schools that I've been to. Let's talk about maybe government schools. Like, they barely have seats, and they use the wall boards. They are not blackboards. Trust me. So, what about that gap? How do you bring this AR and VR, to a place that still looks like it's from the last century?
So basically, the tech is quite expensive. Hardware is expensive. You have your average VR headset costing close to $300, right? So for us, going full VR will be expensive. That's why we're leveraging on augmented reality. Most teachers have mobile phones, right? So create content that are tailored to those mobile phones, and they could share it with the students in the classroom. Because if we're building with a VR headset, they have to get a VR headset. But with AR, they could do that easily anywhere they are in Nigeria.
Okay, so leveraging mobile
Mobile
technology that a
technology.
lot of Nigerians have access to. So that's some penetration there. Thank you so much. So, actually,
Well, for us at Trigon Media, what we want to do really is to celebrate arts and entertainment. And we feel that when you celebrate our culture, our arts, tell our stories, celebrate our entertainment, we can create and expand the opportunities in that space. The person that represented the Minister for Youth and Sports, he mentioned something. He gave an example about Whiskey and how he was topping the charts in Billboard. But the funny thing is that there are many people with the talent of Whiskey currently in Nigeria. Just go to TikTok and see what we're doing on TikTok, or go to Instagram. Now, the question is, in the next 5 years, if these guys are not mentored, if they don't have the platform, if they are not paid for their good thing or their passion, if they are not celebrated, they'll give up because of hunger. Because of hunger, right? I remember, personally, because like I said, I was quite creative. I remember wanting to become a musician. I did it for about 2 years, carrying my guitars, playing in gigs. But then I was starving. I couldn't eat, right? And I was hungry. So I had to give myself brain. I dropped my guitar. I took up something that would feed me, right? And who knows, I would have been a very good musician. Now, just to say that every raw talent, if it's not harnessed, will die. And it won't be because of the person was not good enough. It will be because of the person did not have money to grow it. Now, I believe that that's the difference between the developed society and what we're lacking. We are not harnessing our talents. So our talents are dying. There are no processes, there are no systems to improve what we are doing correctly, right? So that's what we want to change. We want to create a platform. We already have a digital blog, a digital magazine out. It's called thesquare.com.ng, where we celebrate arts. We just tell our stories. We interview our artists. We put them to the limelight. We create opportunities. We're very excited for Netflix coming into Nigeria, but there are thousands of many other kind of investors that want to come into Nigeria. Guys, they are not coming because we don't have the system to bring them in. It was a struggle for Netflix to do what they are doing now, if we tell ourselves the truth. Because of the market, because of the system, because of the structure. If we put the right structure in place, if we put the right systems in place, investors will come and we will be paid for what we enjoy doing. And everybody will be happy about it. All right? It's time to stop.
Thank you so much. So what about you?
Okay, so for us, our ultimate goal is to boost the economic development of women by bridging the gender gap in employment across Africa. And in doing this, we're not just reducing inequalities, we're actually ensuring that there's no poverty. And we are also encouraging gender equality. Now, this is very key because when you empower women, you empower the future. If you listen to reviews from our women, you literally dance. They come in, and I'm not techie, I can't do this. And 4 weeks, 6 weeks, they're literally transformed. When a woman is transformed, it creates a ripple effect. They're excited about their children. Their kids, they want their kids to be techie. I had someone come in and she's transformed, and today her child, 6 years old, is designing with Canva. It's a ripple effect, right? So when they're able to do that, they're able to make better decisions. They have options. For me, one of the reasons I got married when I was 21, going to 22, one of the reasons I got married, we were broke. We were very broke, and I felt, oh, this one will help me actualize my vision and pay my school fees and sort me out and all of that. That was the worst mistake in my life. But if I knew I could do something, if I knew I could self-sustain, we have students from schools today that are actually, they have hope that they're working. I read a review I think just yesterday, and she was telling me, Ma, during the boot camp, he kept telling us to practice, practice. And I went and I updated my profile on Upwork and all of that. She said, Ma, by the second week of our training, I'd earned my first $60. And then after that, by the third week, when we had learned video marketing, I got my first NGO role. And then she said she was going to pay me, no, she was going to pay me $100 to just copy and paste a design on Canva per month. And she's like, they're in the US and they expect me to just work for 5 hours per week. And she's like, there's another one again that is coming. The excitement. I have money of my own, because the little protection a woman has is the money of her own. The African society is not kind to helpless women, for God's sake. So that little money that you can stand and say, okay, I'm doing this because I have options. So at the end of the day, when their economic development is
Any question? Person over there. Anyone else? I'd like to just give a count so that we can utilize our time. Anyone else? Any other questions? Anyone? Okay, someone over there. Okay, it's like 4 questions. All right, is that all? Okay, 4 questions. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abubakar Zakari Ibrahim. I'm a pharmacist and a blockchain enthusiast. And my question goes to you, sir. You made mention about the NFTs. Like the NFTs is kind of a revolution. It, it's something that is getting attention now. But there is a challenge that we are facing, because for you to go into these NFTs, you need crypto. Like you can't just, like you have to make payments in order to post your art. So the problem that we are having is the CBN have bring a policy like a ban on crypto. Like the banks cannot facilitate crypto transactions. And we the youth, we want to do everything by the book. And like I have a friend in the US, he's making thousands of dollars every day. And sometimes I'm the one that make the art for him, and he sell it in the open sea. So it is not favoring us. So what is your take? Should we do it the illegal way and get it in the black market? Or should we just stand and be looking while we miss the revolution? Thank you.
So I think we'll take all of the questions, right? And you can just take note of them, and then we'll and then they'll respond. So next person, please. There was someone over there, and then someone over there.
Okay, good day. I am Kenneth Obodo. I'm a product designer, a realtor, and also a digital marketer. I have a few questions to ask. You know, we also have to take cognizance of the kind of terrain we found ourselves in, where influence peddling affects
facilitate the creative industry. You cited an example of the peculiar nature of setting up a Netflix Niger as an example. So, and you encourage that such structures and systems be put in place. So I was wondering if you could suggest some, some of your own recommendations, aside from highlighting the absence of these systems. So can you just share, or let's banter over some some of your suggested solutions for these systems? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is that the last question? I believe there were four.
Please, I want to add one more thing, please. Don't be offended.
Okay.
There is a major challenge here. It's not about having a business idea or a product idea in Nigeria. It is how to protect your product from being stolen by people that already have money. How do you pitch your ideas to individuals who have money but lack ideas and they are ready to steal what you have? This was actually the major challenge I faced in the course of starting up my business. So how did you, cross that bridge?
All right. Thank you so much. I think we'll jump right into those questions. Who would like to go first? I think.
Okay, so I want to answer that guy. You don't have to know anybody to scale. So you want to hear my story? Okay. So when I left, the thing was I was married for 3 years, and so that marriage cost me every valuable relationship I ever had. And so when came back, I had to start from the ground up. I was too ashamed and beaten to actually reach out to anybody. The very first, when I said in my animation, the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is be visible. That's what I'm talking about, communication, be visible. So that day, I was there, or I was putting my animations, and people were reaching out. Someone reached out to me from Italy. She's like, I'm tired of sending my brother money. Can you teach him the skill? He's in Enugu. I don't mind flying him down to Abuja. And I'm like, oh, yes, sure. But more people were coming to me, and I'm like, hold on, don't fly him down. Let's try a WhatsApp class. If it works, then we do it. If it doesn't work, we do the flying down to Abuja. And so I just put it out to people. On Tuesday, by Saturday, when we start the class, we had 20 something people in class, and we had those on the waiting list for the next class. And so when I did that, I was so excited. I kept putting out what I was teaching my son online. And so there was this master class. I don't know if you know High Economy. It's AGS master class. And they had a master class. It was 30,000 naira. I could not afford it. At that time, I was even using my mom's laptop. My phone was a 1 gig RAM phone. It was that bad. And so they had this masterclass, and it was 30,000 naira. I could not afford it, but I kept stalking the page. I kept saying, one day I'll go. And then they just put up one day at about 11 p.m. that a brand was going to sponsor 2 people. Tell us why you should be selected. Most people are not ready when the opportunity comes. I put it out there. When I answered the questions, I went to iron my clothes. I refused to sleep that night. 4 a.m., I got a mail that I was actually selected among the 2 people. It was here in Transcorp. I came for that meeting, and I was the first person to show up at that meeting. When I got there, I began to introduce myself and relate to people. And one of the things they taught us that day was how to pitch. And she says, we want 6 people to volunteer. Let's see if I've taught well. And people were shying away. I raised up my hand. And so I came out, and then others began to come out. And so we had the pitch. And after the pitch, they decided to vote. And unanimously, I came first. And we thought it was just a joke. And they said, for coming first, they were going to give me 30,000 naira. I didn't pay for the class, but they were going to give the person back the money that paid for the class. And so they gave me 30,000 naira. So I came there for free, and I got 30,000 naira. I got home, and by the end of that week, I'd registered my business name with 10,000 naira. Registration then was 5,000 at a discount, and everything name set. With about 9,000 something, I registered my business. With the remaining 20,000 naira, I bought a Gioni phone, 3 gig RAM, 64 gig RAM. I'll be 3 gig ROM. Yeah, that's what I bought. And that's how I grew. From that class, they told us about the Access Bank Entrepreneur Pitcherton. It was 1 week to the close date. I applied and I got in. And I had a mini MBA with the World Bank, full scholarship. And that was how I began to grow. I kept putting myself out there and I began to get help. But you know what I was doing? Every single money I was getting, I was taking more courses. From animations to graphic design, to being a full stack web developer, to being a mobile web developer, I didn't stop. From having a 1 gig RAM phone, I was able to get a laptop. From that laptop, I have a Core i7, and like that, I kept growing. Most youths are just sitting down, but it starts with visibility, and you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. You just don't know where the opportunity will come. And so I kept doing that, and I kept pursuing for opportunities. Did I get all? No. Did I get some? Yes. But people kept finding me somehow. I just got a contract to train 5,000 youths across the country in digital skills from the Nigerian Export and Promotion Council. I don't know anybody. There. I was just called one day, Excellence, this startup girls are doing is so fantastic. Because my girls were putting their reviews everywhere, all over the place. I'm introverted. That's the truth. But they kept talking about it. It was so good. It's so good that they kept talking about it. And so when they put it out there, they called me and they said, bring your proposal. Let's see. Oh, you're just training girls. We want men. I'm like, oh, it's women I do. Oh, can you do men as well? Yes. How many can you train? We do 500 per quarter. Can you train 2,000? I said, yes. But when the letter came, I was to train 5,000. So you don't sit down under the light. You can't be a light and be hiding under your bed. How visible are you? How prepared are you for the opportunity? You see applications and you will not apply. So,
Yeah, so I think I'll just touch up on everything. So, sir, for the NFT, I don't think we can do anything about it. but we can pray. Our prayer is up to God, it's not up to us. But please don't go the illegal way. Now, what happens is that, funny enough, some of these people at the end of affairs, they have children, they have kids that are age mates. We can talk to them to influence their parents. That's how it happens. It's not a bad idea, trust me. But for now, we cannot do anything illegal. We can pray and wait and be patient, right? I still have cryptocurrency investments, right? You don't have to shout. You don't have to do anything. Just be patient. It's illegal. Time and chance, right? Time and chance is one. And the same thing I'll say. Funny enough, we've been on this stage. It's not like personally. Let me speak for myself. It's not like there's any billion anywhere. Trust me. I saw this information online many weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, I want to be here. And I saw an opportunity to attend the panel and tell my story, and I sent it, and I'm here. I don't know the owner of this organization, and I don't have no reason to know her, but I was ready, and I saw an opportunity that I knew I wanted to be part of, and I applied, right? So I keep hammering that you have to be ready to seize opportunities when they come, right? And the person that asks the problems I said, my recommendations, those are some of that's actually why I set up my business, Trigon Media. The fact that we want to fill in these gaps. So we have sport.net that is basically a career management platform, right? You're a creative, you want to learn something, we'll teach you, right? We'll onboard you properly, you get internship, you'll be connected to mentors, and then you start earning money from it. All of this is my idea. So if you have the money to help me, please come and join me in the vision, right? but trust me, but this is what I want to do. And I've just said it solves a problem. To do it, I don't have the money to do it. What I want to do is to ignite the vision. And hopefully along the way, faith will bring everybody that is part of the vision to join me, right? To the person of sharing your ideas. The truth of the matter is that you have an idea, you don't have the money, you have to tell people. That's the only way you get your ideas out there. Don't be too scared of not telling people and holding what you have. The same wisdom that God gave you to bring your idea, he will bring many other people your way. But you need to tell people, because you don't know who will have the money to help you, right? There are things you can do. You can sign an NDA. You can, when you are presenting your proposal, you can write a clause there this idea is mine, it should not be used. They are, no, no, no. It's not like it doesn't have to be this raw. It's called an NDA, right? Just go online, search an NDA, you print it and write there. What will happen is that even if it's local, the person knows that I cannot use this idea. But the thing is that don't be too scared not to share your idea. You have to talk about your idea. That's the only way you can get people. You have to ask before you receive. It's that easy.
Can we get louder applause? I think you've done very well. I think you've learned a lot. Has this been insightful for everyone? If it has, please just raise your hand if you enjoyed this particular panel. Okay, I think we did well. I think we did well. Kudos to us. Okay. So thank you so much. I've been told that we've come to the end of this session. Too bad, but hopefully we get to see you next time. All right. Thank you so much.